Wow, it's a good thing that I didn't spend hours researching, filming a whole bunch of different mock drafts on Sunday in preparation for this week, and now they're completely useless because of the Aaron Rodgers trade. Good thing, right? Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, a podcast where you don't do Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. I guess it's time for a 3-round mock draft part. Trey Grossi, and today we are going to be doing yet another 3-round mock draft for the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, things have shifted because Aaron Rodgers will be traded to the New York Jets, and we will get an additional second-round pick this year, and we have moved up to the 13th overall pick instead of the 15th. So because of that, things have shifted. So I wanted to get out an up-to-date 3-round mock draft for the Packers, and so let's jump into it. Starting off with the number 13 overall pick. Now listen, right off the bat, as soon as the Packers moved up, everybody and their mom was like, oh, we gonna go get JSN? We gonna go get JSN? JSN? Is JSN coming? Maybe. I still am not completely sold the Packers are going to draft a wide receiver. I think it's possible moving up to 13, and if he happens to be there. But I will say that I think that there is going to be a run on O-line in the first round, just because there's not a ton of talent within this draft, especially you're going to get more developmental guys later on as you go further into the draft, which is normal, but it just seems like there's not a ton of prospects this year that you can go, yeah, they can start almost right away. And so, with that being said, the Green Bay Packers, I have them going with Broderick Jones, the tackle from Georgia, 6'5", 311 pounds, and I ran a 4.97 at 311 pounds, which is funny because he outran some of the guys that we've talked about before, and I'm not talking about offensive tackles, but has played the last 2 seasons at left tackle, has done very, very well. This guy is a monster athlete, and just watching some of his film, like, he legit bullies people, which is pretty awesome to see. Georgia, obviously a very good team last season. And the only real knocks on Broderick Jones is the fact that he hasn't spent a ton of time at left tackle. It's been less than 2 full seasons. But I think that athletic ability is very apparent. He will need some time to develop. But again, the Packers basically have their starting lineup for offensive line. It's just they need depth. And eventually they do need to look at replacing Dave Bakhtiari at some point in the near future. Again, this is not a knock on Dave Bakhtiari. He played incredibly well last year. And I think he is going to continue to play well this season. It's just a matter of his cap is gonna be a tough pill to swallow next season. And on top of that, he is getting a bit older, so it's better to plan for the future because who knows if the Packers are gonna be having a top 15 pick in the near future. Though if Jordan Love sucks, we definitely will be. But right now I have them going with Broderick Jones. They can then take care of their offensive line and then turn their sights to other prospects in the draft. Then with the 42nd pick that the Green Bay Packers acquired from the New York Jets, and that is Felix Anudike Uzama. I saw a comment that says, we just call him King Felix. No, I want the challenge. The defensive end from Kansas State, 6'3", 255 pounds. I have talked about him numerous times on this channel. He was in my Edge prospect video, and he's been on a bunch of mock drafts because I think he is now worth a second-round pick. He's been moving up a bunch of different mocks, and I just love his film. I've talked about it at length, his amazing 2021 season where he had 6 forced fumbles. He had a few this past season. He had 8.5 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in 2022, and the guy could just get after the quarterback. Now, again, he probably could use some time, but I have talked about a need for edge, and considering how many great edge prospects there are this year, I think it just makes sense to say, hey, Rashawn Gary's out for right now. Let's get a guy who could play and then learn behind both Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. And to me, it's a home run. Then with the 45th pick, you know who it's going to be. If he's there, you know who it is. It's tight end Darnell Washington, baby, from Georgia. That's right. 6'7", hands are massive. Great blocking tight end. I have pretty much mocked him every single time I can. He is my draft crush. He's a blocking tight end. He can also catch. He helps on the O-line, and also he'll be a big red zone target for Jordan Love. We need tight end because we only have Tyler Davis and Josiah DeGuara on the roster. It makes all the sense in the world. Just do it, Packers. And finally, with the 78th pick in the 3rd round, we got Rashee Rice, the wide receiver for SMU, 6'1", 204 pounds. I had Cedric Tillman here, but he was gone in this mock draft, and I still like Cedric Tillman as a prospect better, but I think Rashee Rice does a decent job. But I think Rashee Rice is not a terrible pick. I think he's a very prototypical Packers wide receiver. He's big, he's bulky, he's not super duper fast, ran a 4.51, but he has the size and the athleticism that kind of checks all the Packers boxes. On top of that, he is definitely good at contested catches. He has no problem going up and getting the ball. He spent 4 years at SMU. In 2022, had 96 receptions for over 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. He was highly targeted, so he will be used to that kind of production. Now, I will say consistency is a little bit of a problem. He does have some dropping issues, but I think in the 3rd round, the value is there. The Packers are a little thin at wide receiver. They have a very young wide receiver core. Don't be surprised if they go and get a veteran wide receiver after the draft. But right now, I have the Packers addressing wide receiver in the 3rd round just to help out Jordan Love a bit more. But this is what this 3-round mock draft looks like. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. The emphasis was to help Jordan Love, not only with protection, but also giving him some targets, some big targets to throw to, and allowing the Packers to really examine if Jordan Love is their guy. But let me know. Before we get out of here, I want to do a big shout and thank you to some brand new patrons and YouTube members. First on the Patreon side of things, we have Hutton Gildjors with a fitty. Appreciate you and welcome back. And we have Rex B upgrading their membership. Thank you, thank you. And over on the YouTube side of things, join the Grossi Posse Plus, we have Mr. Powers, Granted What Do I Know, Tristan, Timothy Pierce, Calvin Mallow, Jake Valine, and Rob. A big shout out and thank you to you all. But let me know what you think down in the comments below about this mock. Would you be happy with this? Let me know. You know, send me at TomGrossiComedy.com or TomGrossiComedy, all social media, see down below. Check out Packcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.